What is up, RotoGrinders? Happy Monday. Happy Movie Monday. We'll get to that in a second. It's myself, Dean 7904. If you want to get all technical, joined today by Chop. We're here for the next 2 hours plus nonstop MLB DFS conversation, taking you all the way up to lock, all the way up to first pitch. Crunch time's coming in around 6:10, 6:15 on the East Coast. You got the Cheese and Beer show, as well as Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth. Happy Monday, Chop. How are things? How was the weekend?
What up, D? The weekend was fine. We're 2 weeks away. 2 weeks from Saturday, we'll have some actual football that counts. College football, a little warm-up, week 0 slate, but it's better than nothing. And, yeah, weekend was fine. I went, Sunday, went recliner shopping. You know, I need to get some new TV watching material there in the living room. Why they're expensive. And the prices are through the roof, but yeah, I'm going to work on that. Going to go back this next weekend and do some more shopping for the perfect recliner and, you know, figure it out.
I was looking too, and I was thinking Memorial Day was kind of a good spot for a sale, or no, 4th of July. When's the next big sale coming up, Chop? Or is it all nonsense so that you can always find a sale somewhere?
I think that's a good question, because some would say that, you know, they raise the prices on the stuff and then they put it on sale. Yeah. It's really the same price and all. I don't know.
Amazon Prime strategy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some validity. Some of those sales, I've caught some good ones before. I think the next one would be Labor Day, right? Like, I think I went to Lazy Boy, and you're like, yeah, we're starting our Labor Day sale early. They had things marked down. I think it was pretty legit, but we'll see. I don't know. It's a tough one, dude.
So you went to the store, you sat in a bunch of Lazy Boys, and you didn't find the perfect one, and you walked out, and that's that? You're gonna go back? I want one visit. I want one visit. That's it. I don't want to go twice.
Yeah, I sat in a bunch of them. I want the softest, most plush Lazy Boy you got, you know, and like I kept sitting in them, and I was like, man, this doesn't do it for me. If I'm going to spend this kind of money, I want better. I want better. And I didn't find the perfect. Like, listen, if I sat in the perfect one,
yeah,
and I just it just engulfed me with plushness, I would have bought it on the spot, but that didn't happen. So yeah, you know, I took down some information, took some pictures, and then I'll go to a different store this upcoming weekend. You know, I'm in no rush to make a decision.
I'm browsing. I'm in the same market for a similar thing, so it's funny. Let me know. Let me know what you get, Chop, and pass it along. We can buy the same thing. We can work on a 2-for-1 deal possibly.
Well, what's your budget, Dean?
I haven't really thought about it, but it's, you know, if you're going to be like watching game, it's, you know, it's treat yourself, right? This is something. If you're actually going to be, you know, you're in that chair a lot, right? If you're going to be watching like Sunday games, that kind of stuff, like you might as well be comfortable as, like you say, as plush or as comfortable as possible.
The Lazy Boy with all the accessories runs about $3,000, man. It's not no joke, Dean.
What's the most extreme accessory that you're talking about? What's the bells? What's the whistles that have they increased the technology in the last like 10 years?
The lumbar support. Well, you know, there's a big difference between the manual pull up the stick and then, you know, and the remote control, everything electronic. And then, so once you get the electronic, then you start talking about the lumbar support. It's worth it. I mean, it did feel good. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see how it plays out. You know, everything moves. The headrest moves back and forth. So you get the perfect neck angle too, which is a big deal for me.
It's so like people are skippy on beds. Like you're in a bed, you know, the 30 of your life. You know. Yeah. Get comfortable. You know.
Got to have the right mattress. Got to have the right. So we'll see. I don't know how it's going to all play out, Dean. I'm shopping right now. I can't force it. I can't rush it. I've made some big mistakes by rushing things before.
I'm being serious. Let me know what you get. I'm in the market for real. All right, 10 gamer. Oh, Movie Monday. First clue for the people. I feel good about today's Movie Monday. I kind of like this one, Chop. The first clue, if you guys don't know, you know Movie Monday at this point, right? But just in case somebody's not aware, you get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. You tell me the first person to tell me what movie I'm talking about here on a Monday. One clue will drop periodically every 10 minutes or so. The first clue is already scrolling Producer Steve's on top of it. It is fire. Fire is the first clue. Official guest is only the Discord channel. That's rotogrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium, or if you want, you can get scores and odds. But, RG Premium, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, NBA, WNBA, PGA, UFC, which I think UFC fans are excited that apparently the pay-per-view model's gone. Apparently that's what's the big Paramount deal for $7.7 billion, I believe it was. So I imagine it's going to be more accessible for that sport to grow. We'll have is there an off season in UFC? Not really, right? It seems like there's almost always something going on, contest wise. I think every once in a while they take a weekend off, but for the most part, there's content there pretty much every single week. You seem excited about that, Chop. Are you one of those guys that's on the fringe? Like maybe you order, maybe you won't, depending on the card. But
it has to be a really good. It has to be a really good card to drop that kind of money. So I'm kind of excited to see how this plays out. It's always, anything you can get into the market and shake it up and see if becomes a better product. I'm all for. The main thing here, Dean, I think that I'm really excited for is when I watch UFC now, I have to navigate around the ESPN app. It might be the worst app for TV watching, like on the market.
They've kind of given up.
It's bad. So to get out of that app and to get to Paramount Plus, which is a pretty solid app, that right there is, grounds for a party right there, because ESPN app is just awful. So glad we don't have to deal with that, at least for UFC anymore in 2026.
For wrestling, though, I think wrestling is ESPN. Am I right in saying that? I think that's going to be the case going forward.
WWE?
Next years. I think so. I think they're leaving Peacock and going to ESPN.
Respectfully to the wrestlers out there, I'm more into the UFC than I am the WWF or the WWE.
Oh, fair enough.
But to each his own.
Yeah, the chat's not going to like that. There's something that they're diehards. It's still real to them. Damn it.
Who's your guy, Dean? Roman Reigns? Is that your guy?
I don't really have a guy. I'm aware of his existence, but I don't really have a guy. I did want to watch that behind the scenes show on Netflix, though, where they go they put you behind the curtain. Allegedly, supposedly, it's like how they kind of put the stories together and all that. That seems interesting.
Well, I'll tell you, here's one thing I'll say about it is I saw a stat the other day. It said it listed all the top wrestlers right now, like all the ones that are the big money guys, whatever, main event kind of guys. Started listing them off. And the top 10, they're all at least 40 years old. Can we get some new blood in there, guys? Get some new blood in there.
Really? Okay.
All those guys, like the Usos, Roman Reigns, of course, Cena and all those guys are all 40 plus. They're old, man. Get some.
A lot of guys hit their prime in the mid 30s, I think, for wrestling. It seems like their prime is kind of later than actual. I shouldn't say NFL, that kind of thing. They wouldn't be running backs. All right. We got to talk about tonight's 10-game slate. 4 really, really good pitchers, on the bump. I think you're supposed to play at least one of these guys in every single lineup. I think that's what I'm doing. I'm tinkering with the idea of, double barreling. We're talking about Crochet, throwing baseballs against your Astros. Nathan Eovaldi, who just will not stop. He's having an absolutely absurd season at age 35. Dave was talking about his article today. What is it? Every single start amongst his last 14, with the exception of 1. He's given up one run or less, which is just insane. Taking on the D-backs, Webb against San Diego, protected by that ballpark. Of course, the K rate's a little bit lower than the rest of these guys. And there's Yamamoto probably has the biggest variance. The Angels will strike out. They'll also hit homers. There's some power on that team, but they will K a fair bit. Ownership wise, way I'm seeing it right now on DK, currently we have Crochet is the most popular at 38%, Eovaldi 35%, Yamamoto 30%, Webb 15%. And I think there's kind of a break after those 4. If you want to cut off Webb just because of the K thing, I suppose you can make it a 3-pitcher race, but I think all 4 are in the conversation. And then the rest of it's just kind of things you can poke holes in. Will Warren, Zebby Matthews, some K upside, but also they've been kind of shaky. Jeffrey Springs, a tough ballpark here. It's going to be hot in Sacramento. We know it's a small ballpark, as is both sides in that game. I believe have a 5 total. That Tampa lineup is weird. I mean, no official lineup just yet, but there's 2 people named Tristan expected to play baseball tonight for the Rays. It is not Inglorious Bastards, by the way. Spectacular movie, Chop. But sorry, that is not correct. Tristan Gray wasn't the 50 Shades guy. Maybe I'm wrong. But Jeffrey Springs, in theory, is kind of usable. Pepe on the other side, he's had some moments for sure, but and both these teams, the back half of their offenses are pretty rough. But both these teams also have 5 total because, in part, the Christian Gray. Oh, it's Christian Gray. So Kristen, close enough. Thank you, TJ. TJ, very quick to point out that I was wrong. He's a big fan of that the 50 Shades series. Your overview, your screenshot. For me, it's another slate where there's no offense that's absolutely mandatory. We are seeing both Judge and Stanton in the Yankee lineup. And Stanton, by the way, playing right field, which it probably is nothing. But, if I'm the pitcher, I probably don't want Giancarlo Stanton out there, shagging fly balls for me. It will warrant somebody in contention to roster. And it probably won't matter. But if there's a close play, I don't know if Stanton's going to make it lumbering out there in right field. But, give me the old screenshot. How are you seeing things?
Offense is wide open. We'll rank them here in a little bit, but it's legitimately wide open. There's no Coors Field. There's no dominant offense against a weak pitcher. It's just really could go anywhere. And pitching is down to, for me, 3 guys. 3 big guys spend up. I'm tempted to play 2 of those big guys in the same lineup on DraftKings. But if not, even the secondary guys, man, tough pickings. So I'll talk about it in a minute, but there's not that many secondary guys for SP2. So that's what tempts me to go with 2 studs. But I think offense can go anywhere. I think a lot of offenses are going to do good tonight. So I don't think one stack is going to stand out necessarily. But so I think we're going to be decided by pitching, what you do with your pitching. So I'm kind of interested in that aspect of it.
You say 3 guys. Is it Crochet, Eovaldi, Yamamoto?
Correct. I'm leaving Logan Webb off that elite list tonight, and I'll get into it in a minute. But yeah, those 3 guys are the elite guys for me tonight.
Yeah, as far as the K rate this season, Crochet 31%, Yamamoto 28.5%, now Webb 26.9%. Zebby really good as far as the Ks, but he's facing the Yankees, which I think is a high variance opponent. So I think you're supposed to have some Zebby in tournaments. You're also supposed to attack him in tournaments. I'm not running 150, but if I was, I'd probably have more Zebby in the field and more Yankees in the field and just kind of like lean into extreme outcomes. Eovaldi 26.4% as far as the case. We've kind of talked about how he's been lucky and he keeps getting lucky. And at some point you got to tip the cap, I suppose. But, the 1.38 ERA is certainly goofy. A 6% homer to fly ball, 85.7% left on base, 243 BABIP. All that is lucky. However, he's got a 6.7% barrel rate, which, if people aren't barreling him up, they're more likely to not get hits. So that's just how that goes. So again, probably not going to end the season with a 1.38 ERA, but also, he just looks pretty well positioned today. You never know when it's going to come. Probably not Arizona today. It's certainly possible. But every single start, essentially 1 run or less this season. Crochet taking on your Astros, mostly a bunch of righties. We've talked. Is it 9 righties? I think it is 9 righties, right? Yeah, 9 righties in that Houston lineup. No Boston lineup just yet. Is this first blood for Bregman in
Yes. No. Well, in Houston, yes.
In Houston, yes.
This is a big night in Houston. I wish I had tickets to this game. I wish I could get down there.
Yeah.
Too long of a drive. Correa's first home game since the trade. That's going to be
right, yeah.
That would be pretty good. He's going to get an ovation. Bregman's going to get a big ovation. First time back in Houston. Javier returns to the mound. We'll talk about him in a minute. I don't expect much out of him, but it's a big night, Dean. It's a big night there. Yeah.
Don used to say they played last week. That was in Boston, right? This is the first time in Houston.
Yes.
Okay.
Be the first time he gets his video up on the board and all that good stuff. So it'd be fun. It'd be fun.
How often do you head out to the Astros game? Once a year?
Not very much, Dean. It's if I should give you some Texas problems, it's that I-10 down there, the highway that links San Antonio to Houston, it's awful these days. Like they're always doing construction out here on the outskirts of San Antonio. Like, and then when you get into Houston, like it's just weird. It's awful. I don't know why we can't get the road situation solved. And I don't know. It's just weird how they do that. Texas, man, I don't know what's going on with Texas. Come on,
big
guys.
State. You got a lot of space, but
yeah, but like, do we have to constantly be working on the major highway? Can we just have like, okay, it looks pretty good. Let's leave it like this for 5, 6, 7 years. Like it's always got to be something, man. It's always, and then when you start creeping up to Houston, Dean, you get about an hour outside of Minute Maid. You hit a town called Katy, or roughly, sometimes even before that. Man, you start getting bumper to bumper. Like it's not even, you can't even get into Houston, man. It's like 45 minutes outside of Houston. In Katy, you start getting bumper to bumper. So it's pretty awful, Dean. And by the way,
Houston, like size-wise, one of the biggest cities in the country. Jacksonville and Houston, I think, are two of the biggest. Just actual space,
land mass space, probably. But there's so many. It's so heavily populated. I don't think it even matters anymore. But I do also want to say, Dean, it's August 11th, brother. It's August 11th, and my kids just went back to school today. What is going on in this world, man? This is ridiculous. They didn't even get to enjoy summer. It's not even a full summer, man.
They went back to school down here in Florida too. Like I know it's different by state and all that kind of stuff, but is that early? Are you saying that's early? I don't follow this.
Yes, August 11th. I mean, I cannot imagine being like when me and you were in school, like kid school, not college or nothing, but kid school. Like, didn't it used to be like Labor Day was like the thing right around Labor Day we go back. Sometimes they give you that Labor Day off and then you start school after, which would be the first week of September, all that kind of. We're at August 11th and these kids are going back. They don't get no break, man. That's terrible for them.
The chat's with you. They're saying it seems like it is a bit early. Typically, I guess it's like 2 weeks from now or around Labor Day. But I think maybe it's a nationwide thing. I'm not really sure. My finger is not in the pulse of this. But I do know that they are going back to school, at least down here in South Florida. So maybe it's happening in more places than you think. Lineups are coming out as well. Got an eye on that. Just got the Angels, Neto, Shanwell, Trout, Ward, Moncada, Adele, Rengifo. Darno's doing the catching. And Teodosio is doing the in the 9-hole there for center field. Let's see. Producer Steve's telling us South is different. Tennessee is mid-May to early August. Okay, yeah, depends on where you're at. Is a year-round skill, is that no longer a thing? I remember that was a thing very briefly in some pockets. Are people doing that? Is year-round school still like no longer? Is that real? Remember this, job?
No.
Yeah, I mean, there was like they would have different weeks off in here and there, but there was year-round school. You don't remember this? Okay.
I don't remember that, but that's kind of what they're going for here, man. That eventually that seems like it's where we're headed here. Year-round school for the kiddos. Terrible.
Back to our pitchers. You talked about Crochet and Eovaldi, Yamamoto. You had Webb a little bit behind. He's the cheapest amongst the four on DK, but it's not a meaningful difference. Yeah, in a world where there's no salary cap, I want a double barrel as well, and I'm going to try it. Although salary seems to be getting, I guess it's kind of extreme because we do have like this time of year, names kind of popping up out of nowhere. You're going to find some 2K cheapies just to sort of make stuff work. But it seems like the regulars are all kind of like bumped up a little bit. At least that's from my sort of a non-scientific, perspective. If I need the salary, if I'm pinching pennies, I'm spending up for some bats. Who's your favorite pitcher in the mid-tier? I think it's amongst Will Warren, Zebby Matthews, Jeffrey Springs, maybe Jose Quintana. No O'Neill Cruz, which is probably a bad thing just because he's not good against lefties. He did not make the Pittsburgh lineup. Do you have a favorite pitcher in the mid-tier? In the world of a salary cap.
Yeah, it's definitely Will Warren. Like the other guys, major holes in their games tonight. Will Warren, a lot less holes in his game. So it's definitely Will Warren in the mid-range with his, decent K rate. Well, pretty good K rate, actually. He's over 26% on the year. So he's got that going for him. So he can strike guys out. Not really. I know Buxton's back, but this is Buxton's first game back in a while. So I don't, I wouldn't think he's going to, maybe he's not in the groove yet. But even with Buxton back, it's still a lineup that I don't think is particularly good. And went fire sale at the deadline. I just think Will Warren's got a shot here to be the best in this range. Like I could poke holes in all these guys, and with him, it's a lot less. So Will Warren, my favorite in that range, yes.
Will Warren on the season, really dramatic when it comes to his splits. 33% K rate versus righties, 89 ISO, 257 WOBA. So like elite against righties. How many righties is he facing? Buxton, Jeffers, Keishel, who's been great in a small sample, and Royce Lewis. So he's got 4. I want a couple more in there, but there is 4 righties. Against lefties, he's been pretty vulnerable, 21% Ks. Pretty mediocre, not horrific. The ISO too high at 196. The WOBA's not great either at 367. Pretty decent chance at the win, I think. And he's favored there against Zebby on the other side. But you're getting the discount. And I think Warren's my next favorite guy as far as the cheapies. If it's not Warren, it's probably Zebby. His Ks this year, and I don't know how real this is because it flipped last year, but he's been kind of reverse splitsy when it comes to strikeouts. So I don't really know which way to, and it's all small sample stuff. But there are, real Ks, 33% against lefties this year, 24% versus righties. The ISO basically the same, more vulnerable when it comes to WOBA against righties. We're pretty close, pretty similar. Not a big split. Just a lot of power there in that Yankee lineup. Stanton cracked it. Upside for power, but also upside for Ks, 34% strikeouts this year. So I kind of like seeing him in there if I have Zebby.
Oh, yeah, Dean, I would also like – Yankees are one of those teams that also gets a lot of respect, too much respect from Vegas. A 4.9 implied team total kind of makes me think maybe, I don't want Zebby, but they're always going to be inflated. That's just the way the market is for the Yankees. And I don't know if you happen to catch
even these days, the way the Yankees are slumping and everybody's just crashing on them.
I don't know if you happen to catch Shrinkage yesterday was no hitting them for 6 innings, man. In New York.
Jason Alexander. It's just, I can't. Times are rough. I saw a note that their players are out hitting batting practice early today. When Jason Alexander shuts you down, that was a revenge game. Though.
Aaron Boone's getting ejected in the 3rd inning. You can't handle it, man. Like it's funny, man. They're just so bad. So there is a piece that says Zebby is a really good piece here tonight against the Yankees, and then you kind of look at I usually go down and say, okay. 4.9 implied team total against. I got to mark that off. I don't like that. But I'm going to keep him
also at home.
I'm going to keep him in my player pool.
Possibly. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm going to keep him in my player pool, though, even though I don't like I'm looking at – so what I'm looking at, first, I don't know about you, but I look at the projection first. What does the bat say? What does RG say? If you're down there and both sets of projections have you at like under 10 – you're going to get marked off. You're not, something's happening there, so you get marked off. After that, I'm looking at implied team total against and 4.9, like I'll say roughly it's an arbitrary number, but 4.6 or more, and I have serious question marks. 5 or more, and I can't roster you probably. So 4.9 is borderline there of unrosterable, but like I said, that market on the Yankees is always inflated because of the public, so maybe that's a little bit too much. And but I'll keep Zebby in the pool though. I'm with you on the strikeouts and everything else.
You mentioned unrosterable, like there's like Christian Javier making his start to the first start in the majors. Can't imagine rostering him this season, coming back from major injury, barely pitched last year. Miles Michaelis, just what is the upside? I know it's the Rockies, but what are you really begging for? Dollander on the other side, he's one of their prized prospects in Colorado, but he does not seem like he's quite ready. Bailey Falter is not somebody I want to roster. Andrew Heaney's not somebody I want to roster. Chris Paddock, I know it's the White Sox, but I don't think I want to roster Chris Paddock. Whatever nonsense the White Sox are rolling out, with an opener and Alexander as the long man. It's 10 games. There's 20 pitchers, but not really. There's like 10 that you can just kind of throw away. That's sort of the way I see it. Do you see it the same way? Like the pitching pool is pretty thin. Like it's great up top, but there's just not a lot of options once you start digging in.
I agree. It was pretty easy to mark about 10 of these guys off and take them out of the player pool like right off the bat. And it left, and that was leaving me with us, my star pitchers, elite pitchers, a few guys in that middle range, and nothing that I really feel great about, though, outside of about 4 guys. So I'm with you. You Darvish. Like I'm marking off Mikolas. There's just no K upside with him. Great matchup, but dang, I'm not playing a guy who strikes out about 14% of the guys he faces. You can't get by with that. So mark him off. If I need to save salary, which was one of the big appeals with Mikolas, I could just go you Darvish. I don't even feel great about you Darvish, but I'm not keeping all those guys in my player pool. That's for sure. So I can get there with him if I needed the salary, but I won't do that. I think with the hitting the way it is tonight, I think we're spinning up that pitcher.
Let me drop a second clue here for the people on Movie Monday. Nobody guessed it correctly on the first clue. And now, you know what? I lost my page that has my clues. So I got to find what I sent to producer Steve. Get to my backup. Okay. Yeah. Second clue for Movie Monday. The first clue was fire. The second clue, Chop, it is prison. Fire and prison. That is our first 2 clues. Again, get that Discord channel. Tell me what movie I'm talking about. What were the guesses here? Backdraft. Good guess. Speed, Man on Fire, Blockers, Volcano, Burn After Reading. That's a good guess, too. Fahrenheit 451, Fugitive, a lot of fire. It's Dante's Inferno. Yeah, that was one of those disaster movies, right? When everybody, like Armageddon came out, was that Dante's Peak? I think that was Dante's Peak I'm thinking of. There was that moment when every possible disaster was released within a few years. Anything else you want to say as far as pitchers? Like, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, there's a couple fringe guys that we didn't really talk about. Jose Soriano, I don't really want to pick in the Dodgers, but, he's got the great ground ball rate. Things can go awry if the BABIP's not in his favor. Probably not somebody in my pool. I don't make enough lineups. Ryan Nelson's fine-ish. If you want him in your pool, I guess, sure. But what is your upside? I saw a question in chat. Derek was asking, what do you need at a Crochet? To justify that roster spot, to justify that salary. What do I need? 26. I want 30 plus. Probably not going to get it. Can he get it? Sure. If he gives you 25, I'm okay. If he gives you like 17, I don't feel great. Well, do you have a number on Crochet? Like, what are you anticipating? I don't like doing point per dollar stuff in baseball because you never really know where you're going to get your points. The pitcher's a little bit different than the collection of bats. But do you have a target score for Crochet that makes it justifiable to roster him?
I don't do target scores. Yeah. But I understand I understand why you would if you went that route, but I just think there's too many variables in there. Okay, let's set a target and say 30 or whatever, whatever metric you're using. 30, I need 30 out of Crochet. What if you get your 30? And that's fine. But what if Eovaldi gets 31?
Yeah.
And he's $1,300 cheaper, and he was just as highly owned as Crochet, and you didn't roster him. Like, you kind of wasted your Crochet. It's all relative, so I'm not really.
Or just pair them both.
Yeah, well, I just said in case you didn't roster him, so I don't do the target score thing, but I get it. But like, if I was just in a vacuum, and what if your target score is 30, the dude goes out there and gets you a 23, and you kind of feel disappointed, but then you watch Eovaldi get smacked around, Yamamoto doesn't have a good game, and all of a sudden that 23 is somehow the highest scoring pitcher on the slate. Like, so target scores, not worried about, but
there's so many moving parts. It's so fluid, right? Yeah, it's a lot of it's based upon what everybody else did, especially on smaller slates. Like, somebody's going to put up a 25 on DK. There's 20 starters. Somebody's going to get there. Probably more than one somebody. By the way, some guesses coming through. You're guessing Con Air, Chop? It is not Con Air.
Wild Nick. It's always Nicolas Cage is always the answer.
Law-abiding citizen, which is that's a Chop movie if I've ever seen one before.
That's a good one.
It's so ridiculous, but it's good. I enjoy it as well. But it's absurd. It's completely absurd. But I would recommend it. Just don't ask too many questions. It's not Tango and Cash or Escape Plan or Heads of State. Cool Hand Luke. Somebody else guessed Con Air. It's a popular guess. Not Shawshank either or Suicide Squad. All right, we'll drop a third clue soon enough. Anything else you want to say as far as pitching? Pitching is pretty straightforward. I'm going to have – you making one lineup tonight, Chop? What are we doing? How many lineups?
One lineup, Dean.
And it's going to be at least one of Crochet, Yamamoto, and Eovaldi, at least one?
100%.
Do you have a clear cut, or it's just like whichever one kind of fits? If I have the money for Crochet, I'll take Crochet. But
right now, it's Eovaldi. He's
okay.
a little bit cheaper on DraftKings. I like everything. I like just as much about his matchup and what he's doing this year as either one of the other guys. And I was waiting on the Houston lineup, which I thought could have been really beneficial to Crochet. It's already not a particularly great lineup, but they could have done him a lot more favors. At least they benched a couple of the guys that. Like yesterday, Jesus Sanchez in the lineup against a left-hander. That's terrible on Espada's part. You can't have him in there. So at least they gave him a tougher lineup tonight. So I'm going to lean Eovaldi as the number one.
Our guy in chat, J3, wants us to touch on Cavalli. I mean, in a really, really small sample, he was awesome. 31.6% Ks. He had a 21.6% swinging strike rate, which, it would be the highest in all of baseball, I think. I'm thinking about relief pitchers as well. I don't know how repeatable that is. Is Cavalli somebody you're considering? Like, he had a good first start, and good for him. I think that was against the Athletics, if I'm not mistaken. He's taking on, he's taking on KC. Witt is back, by the way. I think he was dealing with the back. I want to say he had some body part that kept him out of the game on Sunday. Whatever Bobby Witt had to get back in the lineup, that's what we need to get to Matthew Stafford. I don't know if you're seeing some rumblings going on there, but they promised he would be out there today, and he's not out there again. And not panicking just yet, but hopefully Stafford can get on the field because we got some best ball shares.
A little
bit of best. Yeah, it's the worst.
I have not drafted.
Already having dead lineups.
I have not drafted a best ball. He'll be fine, Dean. I heard a report that if the season was starting this upcoming weekend, he'd definitely 100% be out there. So probably just a whole lot of veteran. 37, man, veteran management. So I think you're fine. But Cade Cavalli, good first start, but no, he is, to be very, very distinct about it, he is not in my pitcher pool because of the matchup. We've talked about Casey before. They just don't give you the strikeouts. It's part of their method of hitting. They don't give you the strikeouts. And again, I talked about team totals, earlier in the show and how they can kind of lean towards one way or the other for me. And this is a pretty high team total against him. So that's not to Vegas isn't saying, oh, this kid's an ace, man. Let's, give him the Chase Burns treatment and only get that implied team total at about 3.9 or under 4. No, it was 4.7 as of about an hour and a half ago. 4.7 is a pretty hefty total, and they don't strike out much. So no, Cavalli's not in my pool, but hey man, he could go out there and absolutely dominate and do that thing. So Chase Burns is doing it. He's getting double-digit strikeouts every single start now.
Jeez.
So
10 every single time, unless the game gets rained out or
it could happen.
Rain delay.
It could happen. So that's just where I'm at with Cavalli, though. He's not in my pool.
I was trying to figure out. He 2005. He's played this year. He didn't play baseball until 2022 to 2025. Where was he? I'm trying to see, was he playing in the KBO or was he injured for 3 years? Where was this guy? He's still just 26. Let me know in chat. Where was Cade Cavalli? Because I was trying to find his numbers from last year and the previous year, and I got nothing. Was he legit injured for 3 years, Cavalli? But okay. And I agree too. And I don't know how much they're actually going to push him for. He was pitching amazing that game, and they still only let him go 4 1/3. How many pitches they actually let him throw? I'm guessing it wasn't 80. Oh, he got the 88. Okay. Yeah. I'm not expecting a repeat performance, but yeah, he was highly touted, got injury, he had filthy stuff. Yeah, he had to be injured for multiple years, but good for him for working his way back.
Says he underwent Tommy John in spring training of 2023, which would have knocked him out 23 and 24.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe now he's just now coming back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And he played very briefly in 2022. Wasn't very good, but again, it's just a few innings. So, something to monitor. And respect for him working his way back. Okay. By the way, we mentioned best ball. I should shout out to Fantasy Labs. Fantasy Labs, it's your home for season-long fantasy football as well as best ball content. You get access to rankings, projections, articles, much more. You got award-winning experts Sean Corner and Chris Raybon. Fantasy Labs, they now have an app. It allows you to get real-time rankings, draft cheat sheets, as well as lineup advice on the go. We have a nice, sweet promo code for you as well. It's RG15 on Fantasy Labs. You get $15 off. Again, that's for your season-long fantasy football and your best ball content. All right. Third clue for Movie Monday. I see a lot of guesses, by the way, in YouTube. Appreciate the joining the conversation. Always like the participation, but those are not official guesses. Even if you're correct, you are not a winner. You got to get in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. One guess per clue drop. If you are on YouTube, though, kindly hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on those notifications so you know when we go live. So subscribe so you know when our football content starts. We're already doing some preseason stuff out there. I know Jamino's in the streets. I co-hosted. I was just asking questions. I don't know anything about preseason football, but co-hosted the show last week, and Jamino absolutely crushed it. Was it Tanner Hudson? He basically guaranteed that guy was going to score a touchdown, and he scored 2. I guess he's a preseason hero, Tanner Hudson for the Bengals. But that was last week. We care about going forward. We have actual real NFL football. We have college football. All the goods, if you're into NFL stuff. Sunday morning, we're starting, I believe, 9 o'clock in the morning. Myself, Bobby Gomes, Tasteful Tides, Tim, taking you guys all the way up to the bell. All right, kickoff, 1 o'clock on the East Coast. Let's do some tiers, Chop. Before we do that, the third clue is Sue. So it's fire, prison, and Sue.
Sue the name or
S-U-E? S-U-E. Yeah. So that is how it is spelled. Yes. Just wanted to double check and confirm that is what Steve has, and that is how I would want it spelled. So get in the Discord channel, get yourself week free of RG Premium. What is today's tiers category, Chop? I'm going in blind. I have no idea what it is.
Well, Dean, on Friday night, I had the pleasure for Friday night movie night of watching the new Eddie Murphy, Pete Davidson flick on one of the streaming apps. I don't even know.
It wasn't a pleasure. I'll just stop you right there. It wasn't a pleasure.
Come on. Sometimes you just got to.
It wasn't good. Come on.
Sometimes you just got to kick up and just take it for what it's worth. I didn't mind. Eddie Murphy's funny. So there was some funny movie. There was some funny parts in there. I mean, obviously you're not going into that looking for a plot, but anyway, it's a new Eddie Murphy. So Eddie Murphy comes out with a movie, I'm going to watch it because Eddie's funny.
Yeah, you're on the couch and it's free and you already have Amazon. You have no expectations. If you left the house and you bought some popcorn, you're like, this movie's terrible.
That's why that movie's not in theaters. Like that's why it's straight to streaming. They know what they're doing. They know that that's not going to get any legs in the movie theaters.
So why are you grading it? You're grading on a curve, is what you're saying.
No, I'm grading. I'm personally grading it because it was entertaining for a Friday night. It was it had some funny pieces to it. I enjoyed it. I kind of liked it. So, yeah, not a good plot, not a plausible story, but it was funny. Anyway, Eddie Murphy.
Besides that, you loved it.
Point being, Eddie Murphy. Not his best movie, that's for sure, but he's had some bangers in the past. So I ranked some Eddie Murphy movies for us because I think he deserves a little shout out. Strictly movies, and by the way, tier 1.
Can I guess before we reveal it?
I do want to point out though, people will get mad. Tier 1, there was legit like 3 movies that 100% should have been there, could have been there, but I could only choose one, so that was that. So don't get mad at me when the board comes up. It was on the list, but could only put one guy there. So Eddie Murphy movies. What you like?
There's also like 10 you can put in the bottom tier too. Like he's like the Zebby Matthews, right? You might get an extreme 7 or 8 Ks and a good performance and an A-list performance, or you also might get his face fully punched in and like you're watching Norbit. Norbit, by the way, has got to be the 5. Like I don't know what was the one where you went to space? What was the space one that was thoroughly terrible? Chop, you did guess it correctly. You are correct on Movie Monday. However, somebody's already guessed it before you. Yeah. I realized I should not have put that clue third. I should probably put it 4th or 5th, but that's how it goes. We do have a winner for Movie Monday. I will shout them out momentarily. Several people actually guessed it. Dunk 101 looks like the first one getting a week free of RG Premium. So Coming to America's got to be in the one spot. I mean, maybe you're thinking Beverly Hills Copper, Trading Places. I don't know. Is that what you're thinking? Is that the possible options for one? But I think it's got to be Coming to America.
Lots of options for one, Dean.
But that's for me. This is your list. That's fine.
Yeah.
I respect that it's your list. If it was my list, it's Coming to America. Could you just tell me that is in the one hole?
No, but it could have been. Could have been, but
Daddy Daycare.
Such a solid movie. Underrated.
Pluto Nash is a 5. Pluto Nash has got to be 5. Is it Pluto Nash or Norbit? It's got to be 5. Norbit's 5. I got that right. Thank you, Chop. Okay. Bowfinger, Tower Heist. Distinguished Gentleman. Okay, this is a Life. You have Life in one. Okay.
Such a good movie.
Can I get your cornbread? Yeah. All right. Talk about your list.
Tier 1, I mean, 48 Hours could have been it. 48 Hours, the original with Nick Nolte and, Eddie Murphy getting out of prison such a good movie. That could have been there. But Life hit it. Martin was in there, and it was just made you laugh, made you cry. Life was just so good, man. So Life gets the first spot. Underrated. A lot of people don't know about The Distinguished Gentleman. Sure. Funny movie, laugh out loud movie. So I'll put it in the 2 hole. Definitely wasn't a tier 1 movie, but certainly a tier 2 movie and deserves a shot out there. Tower Heist, I enjoyed. I'll watch it. I'll watch it a couple times. I don't mind. Tower Heist.
Stiller?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, Ben Stiller flick, got some good little cast in it. It's so I'll put it in the 3rd hole. Bowfinger, you started getting Bowfinger just wasn't good, man. I wanted it to be good when it came out, but it just wasn't good. Yeah. Yep. Steve Martin, Bowfinger. He was Bowfinger. Yeah, not good. And then Norbit. Yeah, Norbit, Pluto Nash, any of that stuff could have been down there. But I don't know. Life though, he has some bangers, man. He has some good bangers.
But you notice the movies you put at A and B are 30 years old, maybe 35 years old. Kind of making the point, that you're grading. Where would you have put this most recent movie with Pete Davidson?
I would have put it in tier 3. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. I mean, I thought there was some funny pieces to it. But Eddie's just funny. Eddie's got a funny way about him.
I like Eddie Murphy too. It's just he's a GPP play, man. There's a lot of duds in there, but the hits are great. I will agree on that. All right. By the way, Kirk D's, shout out to Juggalo Nation in chat he says I don't know any of these movies. How does Kirkwood not know any of these movies? How's that possible? He's not. He's an old, like us. How does he not know?
Never seen Life. Never seen Life.
Never heard? He said never heard of him.
Never heard of Life with Martin.
Yeah, at some point you got to wander to that movie.
The late great Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
And I forget who the dude was. The baseball guy. He ended up baseball. He played baseball in the movie. He was really good. Got out of prison because of the baseball, but he was a pretty good actor. I forget his name. Chad knows.
I don't remember.
God, such a good movie.
All right. Let's throw some teams into some tiers. We just got Boston's lineup, by the way. Anthony, Bregman, Duran, Story, Abreu, Gonzalez, Toro, Rafaela, and Navarez is doing the catching. Okay, first game, Minnesota Yankees. We mentioned that both Giancarlo Stanton and Judge are in the lineup because Stanton's actually playing in the field. He's out there in right field. Buxton is back. Also, you mentioned that. We talked about the splits for Warren. So much better against righties. Only 4 in there. The lefties are not terribly imposing, like Julian, Ryan Fitzgerald. I think he was the guy that hit a homer, right, in his very first at bat after like 2,500 ABs in the minors. So shout out to him for homering over the weekend. Minnesota Yankees close to a 5 total, but not quite. They're pushing it against Zebby. Where do you want to throw these two teams?
Yeah, Dean. Yankees are going to be in tier 3 for all the things that we've said so far. The Zebby Matthews experience is kind of like, what are you going to get out of him? That kind of dictates a little bit for the Yankees. So they're a tier 3. The New York Yankees offense, tier 3. Minnesota against Will Warren and this bullpen is going to be a tier 5, Dean. I don't want any pieces of this team right here. But, Dean, what that does do is right off the bat, we get to go Chopper's knocker blocker.
Wait, there's a Yankee reliever that's good?
Listen, they made some trades at the deadline.
Not Devin Williams.
They made some trades at the deadline. They bolstered their bullpen. This is where I don't know if you've ever seen that Shaq gif. Kirky likes it a lot. It's where he says something and he puts the paper up and he's giggling behind the paper. He's laughing at what he just said because he's totally, I don't know. You have to. I bet Steve
I wasn't aware your game was kind of what I was thinking. That's more of the meme. I suppose.
He says something and he's kind of trolling and he puts the paper up and he starts behind the paper. That's Shaq. But anyway, so I'm going to do that because the Yankees vaunted bullpen. They went out and traded for all these guys and they've been pretty much obliterated since the trade deadline. But this is a good spot. This is a good spot to let's pull up some David Bednar numbers. David Bednar. Pretty much taken over the closer role for this team since that trade deadline. They gave up
nothing to close.
Yeah, gave up a little bit for him. 30-year-old right-hander. Give him a shout out though. I know he had a bad start to his Yankee career, but he's better than that. He'll get it right. 2025, 34% K rate, 2.66 xFIP. Right-handed hitters this year, 1.91 xFIP against him. So he's pretty effective against righties, even though it's a weird thing where he's caught some unlucky breaks against them, but he's better than that. 3-pitch pitcher, Dean. 3-pitch pitcher. 97-mile-an-hour four-seamer. He's got the 77 curve, which changes speeds and hits a whole different zone. And then on top of everything, he'll throw the splitter. He's really good. He's solid. He's going to help them long term, but they did have a rough start to their whole post-trade deadline Yankee careers, but that's fine. That's good. Give them a shout out.
Just got the Brewers home versus Pittsburgh. Brewers, one of the teams with above 5 total. Dave writes about him. I still don't know how Milwaukee scores all their runs. I don't know how to predict how they're going to score all their runs. There's a pinch hit concern with the lefties starting, and they have like 5 guys that are all kind of the same. This the Brewers team. They all seem to kind of came out of nowhere. Isaac Collins and Caleb Durbin and Sal Frelick and Brandon Lockridge, they're all sort of the same dude. So Milwaukee is a big team total. I just don't really like them outside of Andrew Vaughn's pretty obvious, right? He's still probably too cheap. Contreras is coming alive here, so don't mind him. But I don't know. Maybe I should like Milwaukee more because Andrew Heaney's not particularly good in that Pittsburgh bullpen. Speaking of that's where Bednar came from. So, we talk about how as we close in at the end of the season, the better bullpens get better, the worse bullpens get worse because they're trading off their pieces. So the bullpen probably not great. Admittedly, I did not check their stats, Pittsburgh. But Pirates, Brewers, Quintana versus Heaney. Where are you at?
Pittsburgh's a tier 4 for me against Quintana. What keeps them in contention is that it's a left-handed pitcher, and if they have any semblance of doing anything good offensively, it would be against a lefty. So I don't know. I'm still going to only put them in tier 4. Milwaukee, I'm putting Milwaukee in tier 2. But, Dina, I really do think there's that whole post-big series letdown kind of thing that happens in baseball sometimes. And this would be
up with the Pirates.
This would be one of those instances. They just coming off Milwaukee, a big series, and now you get the Pirates on a Monday, Tuesday, So I'm going to put them in tier 2 because, Heaney is not particularly great. This bullpen isn't like lights out or anything, and there's a lot of things to like about Milwaukee, but just tier 2.
I will drop that 4th clue. We're still playing for fun here with today's Movie Monday. Fire, prison, sue, and money. Sue and money. I should have put money in front of sue. That was a bad job of me as far as structuring the game, but that's you live and learn. We're just playing it out for fun here. We already have a winner, but you're still playing. There is 4th clue for Movie Monday. Chop already got it, so shout out to Chop and somebody in Discord as well. Detroit and Chicago. It's a 9 total. Detroit's a minus 154 favorite. Chris Paddock taking on the combination of Elvis Paguro and Alexander. Detroit looks pretty good. It looks like the long man is going to be a lefty in Alexander. That's the expectation. But, Green is in there. Carpenter, they're in there as well. Just be aware of that, I suppose. Where do you want to throw Detroit and the White Sox?
We're starting White Sox tier 4. I know it's just Chris Paddock, and they've been better. since the All-Star break, but I still don't have any, big time hope for the Chicago White Sox offense this year. So that's a tier 4 team. Detroit's going in tier 2. I don't mind this matchup. Don't mind the bullpen that they're going to be facing. I think some good things, play out for them on paper. They haven't been as good lately as they were earlier in the year. That happens though. So they're just a tier 2. We're not quite good enough to put in tier 1.
All right. Tier 2, well, tier 4 is Chicago. You're throwing Detroit in tier 2 with the distinguished gentleman. All right. By the way, Roth, I just dropped this in chat. He has that game yellow. There's a big long paragraph talking about it, possibly some late games issues, but officially just yellow. Wouldn't panic about it, and I don't think we're rostering these pitchers anyway, as far as I can tell. At least I'm not. Yellow, green in Kansas City, straight green in St. Louis, green in San Fran. Wind blowing out, but that ballpark is built to sustain or, subdue heavy winds. And it's also green in Sacramento, hot, wind blowing out, and that ballpark is already advantageous for hitting baseballs. All right, game number 4, it's Washington and KC. Bailey Falter, Cade Cavalli. We saw Cade Cavalli come back in his first start in forever and pitch well, and good for him. But now he's got to do it again against Kansas City. We do have Bobby Witt officially in this lineup. Lefty and Falter, don't really love him, but the two best hitters here for Washington are left-handed, Wood and Abrams. Coming alive a little bit of late. We saw a big slump for Wood, and, but that's basically the crux of their lineup. Beyond them, it's pretty much nonsense. However, I don't think we're playing either one of these pitchers. You tell me. Or how about the offenses? Do we like the stacks in Kansas City?
Yeah.
Or
it's weird, Washington? Dean. It's weird, Dean. You can't play. I don't want to play one of these pitchers, and I really don't want to play either one of these offenses, but I can't knock them off the board completely. So this game, Washington and KC, they're going to get the Larry Bird treatment, Dean. They're both going in tier 3, 33 for Larry Bird, the great Larry Bird. I don't know if he's still alive or not, but he's both these teams are going in tier 3. KC, I don't know. I don't know what to think about KC in this matchup tonight. They could get stomped, or they could run this young kid out of there early. Washington, on the other hand, they've got the better matchup, but they've got a much more up and down offense. So I just don't know what to make of either one of them.
I was trying to think of other athletes that are number 33. You go to Bird, I guess Kareem. Grant Hill was 33.
I believe. Don't quote me on this. I believe the great Tony Dorsett was 33.
Okay. You mentioned Shaq. Wasn't Shaq 33 at one point? I think he had multiple numbers. Was he never 33?
Doesn't sound. I can't in my head. I can't.
He was 32, but I think he was 33 at some point.
Ever being the 33, I can't picture Shaq everywhere in number 33.
Steve is telling us that Jose Canseco was 33.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing, that's another 33. There you go. That'll be another board, for another day, I suppose. We can power rank 33s. Never-ending, places to consider as far as our tiers. Casey says Shaq was 32 and 34. I guess I was all around it. Colorado, St. Louis, one of those teams that have 5 total. They're facing a bad bullpen and a bad starter. And Chase Dollander, he's got his face punched in so far in the majors, just getting the call back up again, getting the kid some experience. But, he's got to learn. At some point, he might be good. Right now, he's not. Doesn't appear to be. Newbar looks like, if you're playing cash games, probably somebody that's going to land in your cash games tonight. Burleson looks pretty good as well. I do like St. Louis pieces. They're mostly pretty cheap as well. Michaelis, I like attacking him. I don't really like attacking with Rockies, but these Rockies, when they're not missing the ball, they can hit it far, and he probably doesn't strike out a bunch of Rockies. So I think I don't want to say sneaky, but playable. They're playable, some of these guys. Colorado and St. Louis, what do you got?
I need a salary relief GPP play of the day, Dean, is what I need, because my survey answer of Yoshida didn't make the lineup, I don't believe. So
what do you need? A salary saver for tournaments?
Salary saver for large field GPPs. Yoshida is off the board.
For DK or FanDuel or both?
I don't know. For the survey.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, normally sometimes I'm specific based on site. You're saying to somebody.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't even. If I can just get away with just doing one name, I ain't doing a bunch of names.
Okay. Yeah.
You got one for me?
Give me a second. And I'll come up with something for you.
Yeah, let's go to this game is a Colorado Tier 3. I just have no interest in Mikolas, and if I don't have any interest in him, there's a chance I could play some Colorado here. They've been a little bit improved since they brought up some of these youngsters, so they're a Tier 3. They're interesting. They're interesting in this matchup. On the flip side, there, St. Louis against this guy and this bullpen, our first Tier 1 of the day. I really like the St. Louis stack. Now, they could bite me because they're a very inconsistent offense, but they're going in Tier 1 for me. There's too many positive signs for them tonight to completely flop.
What about Nolan Gorman? He qualifies for both. The parameters are 3K or less on FanDuel and 4K or less on DK. And, only one lefty in that bullpen for Colorado, so probably gets his hacks against all right-handers. 185 ISO versus righties this season.
The Cardinals, and I just was trying to get a little bit different than other people, but that's fine. I can give him the same answer.
Did somebody else have Gorman as well? I didn't see.
I think it's a trifecta. Boggs Light and Bond for both had Gorman in that. But I mean,
now I feel like a donkey. I thought
that was a donkey. But I mean, I've already sent it to the Slack, so I can't take it back.
There you go. 3 out of 4 people with the same guy. That happens sometimes. Okay, let's move along. We have St. Louis and the only team currently hanging out with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy in life. We shall move on. Arizona, Texas, Eovaldi. Here's a cheapie. I don't know if you like it, but Jock Peterson's still 2-1 on DK. Possibly gets pinch hit for when a lefty comes in, but you might get 3 at-bats. You might get some strikeouts. He has a home run this year. It's officially happened. He's shown the ability to hit the ball over the fence. So, but he's cheap. He helps make stuff work. I don't know how sneaky he is because I think he's going to be somewhat popular for a 10-game slate. Eovaldi, we talked about how ridiculous he's been this season. You're probably not playing Arizona pieces outside of extreme tournaments, large field tournaments. Carroll, Marte, Del Castillo, another cheapie as far as the catcher. But it's a revenge game for Jock Peterson. I don't know what he has to be angry about, but it is a revenge game for him. Arizona, Texas, what do you got?
Texas is the Tier 4 in this matchup for me. Ryan Nelson, not great, but not terrible, not bad. So I'm gonna put Texas in Tier 4. They've been slumping, so I don't really want to go and attack with Texas tonight. Arizona is a Tier 5. No chance that I want to attack Eovaldi and the bullpen. When I was doing the knocker blockers, I'm like, let's get a Texas guy in there. But really, nobody in their bullpen really truly stands out. They just do it, by committee. So it's a solid bullpen. It can really eat up some innings and hold you in check. So it's solid. Arizona's a Tier 5. Tier 4 for Texas, Tier 5 for Arizona. I'm not expecting a lot of offense in this game. I just don't think it's going to happen.
We have beer and cheese coming in for crunch time about 15 minutes or so, as well as cheap and around. Just Kevin Roth. Do with that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. I know we have the knockers as well. Chop's got these brewing up the knockers as well as the LBBP suggestion of the day. We'll get all that as we have 4 more games to go through. I will drop the last clue for today's Movie Monday, despite the fact we already have a winner. But let's put the 5th clue on the screen for the people. It is spoon. Spoon is the 5th clue, Chop. Spoon. All right. That's fire, prison, sue, money, and spoon. All right. I know some people, they were really insisting it was it Butto that was saying that Chuck and Larry movie. I don't know why they thought it was Chuck and Larry, but or is that like a running bit? I feel like that's often a movie that's suggested, but it's not Chuck and Larry. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Is that what it's called? I think it is. Okay. The next game we're talking about, it is Boston taking on your Houston Astros. You said this is a big game. If it was playing in your backyard, you'd be interested in going, but it's too much of a excursion to get to the ballpark there with traffic. Not a monopoly in Houston. Traffic a lot of places, unfortunately. But Bregman back for first blood in Houston, first home game for Correa since newly acquired, first start of the year for Christian Javier for the Astros against Garrett Crochet. Garrett Crochet, one of, if not the most popular pitchers on the board, biggest upside theoretically. Boston, Houston, what do you got?
Houston is going in tier 5, Dean. Crochet is just really good. Now, the all right-handed lineup, you never know. Maybe they can get to him there. Maybe they can get something going. But Boston kind of like behind the scenes there, or not behind the scenes, but if you kind of tune into some of the manager speak, coach talk behind, on local TV, they really like their bullpen. That's a strength for them. So they feel like that's a strength for them moving forward. So it's a solid bullpen with Crochet. That's a tier 5 Houston. I don't want any piece of that. On the flip side, Dean, we got like polars here. Boston's going in tier 1. Got to go in tier 1. You got a guy who's coming off of Tommy John, hasn't pitched in a long time. Like if he leaves the game, he will leave the game early because he's coming off Tommy John. This is kind of warm-up stuff right here. When he leaves the game early, if they're behind in that game, you're not going to get the really high leverage guys. You're going to get the poorest part of the bullpen. That's always key. And Dean, I have to say that there was nothing from Christian Javier's minor league rehabs.
Not great.
That looked like he was anywhere near where he should be right now. The velocity way down. I don't know that he amps it up all of a sudden coming up to the majors, but he's a guy who lived and died by his 95 mile an hour fastball. If he can't reach that mark, which he was not even coming close to in the minor leagues, he's in trouble. So Boston's a tier 1, man. Too many good things for them rolling tonight.
By the way, I think the Braves are in tier 5, and that's supposed to be the Diamondbacks because Atlanta. I mean, they are in tier 5. They're not in the slate, so you definitely don't want to play Atlanta if you can find a way to play them. Did you put Arizona in tier 5? Is that correct, John?
Against Eovaldi, yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's an honest mistake, just a big old A. Okay. 3 more, and the chat was correcting, and chat's on top of these things. Do appreciate that. Okay, 3 more games to go here, Chopper. Dodgers, Angels. I don't think we have a Dodgers lineup just yet, unless I missed it. No, I don't think it's come out just yet. Yamamoto versus Soriano. We do have an Angels, no Dodgers. We're projecting Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Muncy, Teoscar, Conforto, Pajes, Freeland, and we're projecting Dalton rushing to do the catching. We shall see on that. Maybe it's Will Smith. Stay tuned. Where do you want to throw the Dodgers and the Angels? They are the Dodgers, that is, minus 186 favorites, a 4.5 team total. Where do you want to put these teams on the board? The old Battle of Los Angeles.
Yeah, Battle of LA. Here's the thing, Dean. I'm going to put, just out of respect for the lineup they have, I'm going to put the Dodgers in tier 2. Okay, I'm going to, just out of respect for the lineup. But I'm going to say this, Dean, and I want people to hear this moving forward. The Dodgers at home, they have like a 215 ISO at home. When they go on the road, that ISO is in the 150s. So, first of all, that's a big difference. We kind of maybe need to think about, are they cheating at home? I mean,
that's what I was expecting, allegations.
Some things going on there. A 215 compared to a 157? That's a big number, right? It's a big gap. And so we're still in LA. Is that going to matter? I don't know. We're at the Angels home ballpark, though. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out. Same city, but different ballpark. So is it more close to the 215 or the 157? I'm putting the Dodgers in tier 2 just out of respect for the lineup. But I think there's some shady business going on there when they're playing in Dodger Stadium.
Regular speculation.
Saying I'm entitled to my opinion. So was Cody Bellinger when he was totally wrong with the Dodgers back in the day when he pointed out Altuve might have not deserved the MVP. So I have my opinion too. Okay. The Angels, though, on the other hand, tier 5, man. No, thank you. Hard pass on that against Yamamoto and a good bullpen.
I did pull up the splits like you were talking about, the home road stuff. Yeah, Dodgers, and to put some, 157 ISO, that's 12th in baseball. The WRC plus is right in league average, 99 on the road this year. That's 12th, and WRC plus, it's 100 means that's the baseline. You're exactly league average. If you have a 120 WRC plus, you're 20% better than the league. Okay, so Woba, where are they at? 13th. Okay. I didn't click on like active roster, but that is interesting. That ballpark does play pretty favorably though too, for what it's worth. But interesting. I like a good reckless theory every once in a while. Just throw it against the wall and see what happens. All right, it's San Diego and San Francisco. Another game out there in California. Yu Darvish, Logan Webb, 7 total. We sort of mentioned Logan Webb in passing as far as the pitchers. It sounded like you wanted to separate him from the other 3: Yamamoto, Crochet, and who was the third guy that we liked a good bit that's throwing baseballs. Eovaldi, yeah. I think he's kind of in that mix as well. Yeah. Innings eater, great ballpark. I know San Diego's not an opponent you love for racking up Ks, but barely over 3.3 total. I like Webb, but I get it why you don't really see him as a guy that probably is a slate breaker. Yeah, but he feels pretty safe, right? Hate doing that, but that's kind of the way I read it.
Here's the way I read it, Dean. I don't want Webb because there's 3 guys right around his price range that I think are all better, and it just kind of knocks him. So I don't want to roster him, but at the same time, I'm putting San Diego in tier 5 against him. I don't want to roster anybody against him necessarily, or not a stack at least. Maybe I could one-off some bats. Like this iteration of San Diego with Tatis and Machado and Cronenworth and whoever, like they faced him several times. They're these are popular opponents right here. They faced him several times over the last couple of years. He's not had a lot of success against them recently. And this is a kind of a similar lineup tonight than that what they've had the last, couple of years. So I don't want to roster Logan Webb, but I certainly don't want to go full stack on San Diego. So that's a tier 5. Darvish, definitely a lesser pitcher than Webb. But that bullpen, we've talked about this before. We'll talk about it going forward. They've got like 5 arms they can throw out there on any given night against you. San Francisco's a tier 5, man. I want no piece of San Francisco.
All right. We have 1 game to go. The hammer tonight. It's the Rays. It's the Athletics. And I think it's a legit hammer. I think it is. 10 total. We're chopping it up 5-5. Basically a coin toss. Jeffrey Springs, Ryan Pepio. There are some weird names projected for Tampa tonight, and I think there's also some pinch hit risk as well. Fiducia, we're anticipating to draw the start there as far as doing the catching for Tampa. We mentioned a pair of Tristans, Tristan Peters, Tristan Gray. I saw Hae-Sung Kim is cracking some lineups as well, which, just not a lot of power there. Simpson's got to get there via the legs. He's kind of pricey, and we're projecting him to start left on left here versus Springs. Kurtz is just so pricey these days. He hasn't really had the a homer and outburst of late, or since that 4 homer outburst has he homered since then? I feel like he might have is that the last of the home runs we've seen from Kurtz? Did I miss one? He has not homered since his 4 homer game, which was on the 25th. So, and he's still 6'2". Like, that's not his height. He's probably taller than that, actually. The asking price on DK. I mean, you got to dip the price when the guy isn't homered in 3 weeks, right? At some point, anybody who's got the button,
just don't play. If it's too
just expensive, lower the guy a little bit. Lower him a little bit. What are we doing? And Butler's also another guy who's been stinking. Butler's been stinking too.
Yeah, I can get behind that take, but it is what it is, Dean.
I don't like these prices.
Yeah, well, that happens. Here's
I
the thing.
Buy this Lazy Boy if these are the prices of the Lazy Boy.
Oh, I wouldn't buy it. No. This is like paying top dollar for a Furniture Factory warehouse. No, this is the Lazy Boy prices. These are the Lazy Boy prices for the clearance at Furniture Factory. It's okay though. Because
Day was a pretty good price. Day is
maybe find the perfect one for you though. Maybe find the perfect one for you. Here's what I think about this game. It's a weird game in general, Dean, because the weather or the stadium combined with the weather. Okay, I don't have the weather edge pulled up. What does Roth say about the weather?
There's data for the ballpark for weather.
That's right.
He's got a blurb. He just tells us.
Well, good thing I have my data.
Ooh.
Yeah, good thing I have my data.
Is that a setup? Did you know this all along?
It's a good thing I have my data. It's going to be 90. It's going to be around 90 to start this game out. Now, it's double-digit winds blowing out. but so every stadium is built a little bit different. But this being a minor league venue, it kind of picks up on the wind a little bit more than some of the other stadiums around professional baseball. So we're good in that aspect. The weather and the stadium were on point, Dean. If these pitchers were lesser pitchers, this would be a total hammer. But I kind of respect both these pitchers enough to where both of these teams are going to end up in the distinguished gentleman for me. Not quite make the top tier. Springs, in fact, if we pull up the expert survey, I think Beimfor was on Springs as his favorite pitcher.
That's every 5 days. Beimfor is talking about Springs. Well, but go ahead.
There's something to Springs. He's okay. That's kind of the point being. He's not like a total pushover, He's all right. And I think Pepio has talent too. So, in fact, let me slide this. So, yeah, 109. His stuff rate's 109 on Fangraphs. That's excellent. 100 is like a decent number. He's 109. He's got good stuff. I think it's two solid pitchers. That's what keeps this thing out of tier one. But this weather and this ballpark combined are very good, very hospitable to the hitters tonight. But just out of deference to the pitchers being pretty good, I'm going to put them both in tier two.
Out of deference and hospitable in the same sentence. Look at you, Chop. Somebody's read the dictionary.
Damn, I'm good, D. This is why I tell kids to read, because it sticks with you for your whole life. You can't beat it. You just got to read, man. You can't put the damn games down, put the iPads down, pick up a book, even if it's a book about football and running backs from the 1990s. Just read, man. It helps.
Where did you have San Fran and San Diego?
I have both tier 5, both in tier 5.
Okay, so he got that correct. He was guessing in the 5th tier. He's having an issue with his dogs. I want to recap the board. You're going to give the people some knockers. You're going to give the people the BVP suggestion. I'll tell you how we got to today's Movie Monday. If you guys are just joining the show, Chop took it upon himself to do our tiers today. He tier ranked Eddie Murphy movies. So tell us in chat, what did Chop miss? How was he wrong? His tier 1 Eddie Murphy movie is Life. I know, I was surprised too. He's got just 2 teams up top there. It's St. Louis and Boston. The distinguished gentleman, that's tier number 2. That's Milwaukee, Detroit, LA, Tampa, and the Athletics. Right smack in the middle, it's Ben Stiller and Eddie Murphy in Tower Heist. That's the Yankees. Kansas City, Washington, Colorado. Bowfinger, poor Steve Martin. That's Pittsburgh, the White Sox, and Texas. And there was a lot to choose from down here. Chop went with Norbit. Norbit beat out Daddy Daycare. It is Minnesota, Houston, Arizona, Anaheim, San Diego, and San Fran. Chop, give the people the knockers and the BEP suggestion of the day.
Okay, Dean, what I'm going to do is give you the BVP suggestion. I have to put a little asterisk by this and say, I won't play this guy, Dean, but I'm just the numbers. Sometimes the numbers, it just spits out the numbers. I hate the matchup. I hate a lot of things about this, but the numbers are there. So I got to put him on this list. I got to give him to the people. It's Jackson Merrill against Logan Webb.
Oh,
yeah, I don't like it. I'm not playing him, but, the numbers are there. So BVP, I don't even know if I would suggest it, but I'm gonna.
That's all this is a suggestion. You're saying it's not even that? It's nothing then. It's not a suggestion.
The numbers say he deserves to be mentioned on the show as the suggestion of the day. If we take away the name Logan Webb and put up, 25 of the other pitchers on this slate, it's certainly a suggestion of the day. I won't play it, but Jackson Merrill, he's going to get mentioned as the suggestion of the day. The numbers jump out. The numbers jump out.
6 hits and 10 at bats, 4 singles, 2 doubles. The chat is talking about Joey Ortiz, who's got 3 homers and 5 at bats versus Andrew Heaney. Just
okay.
I guess that you didn't care for that. So
I would rather take a good hitter against a good pitcher than a bad hitter, against a mediocre pitcher. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Anyways, so we'll go Jackson Merrill. It can't always be sunshine and roses, man. Now, what we want is some knockers, Dean.
Who's going yard?
This is an interesting one, Dean. I don't know if you know this, but there is a city in America nicknamed the Mound City. The Mound City is the perfect place for some knockers, Dean. Hello, we're going to St. Louis here. Lars Nootbaar, Alec Burleson, the Mound City, the Archway City, the Gateway, whatever the hell the nickname is. It's also the
Gateway to the West.
The Mound City, St. Louis, Nootbaar, Burleson. Let's roll, man. The knockers of the day.
Who were the 2? I'm sorry, you said them quickly. Who were the 2 knockers?
Lars Nootbaar, Alec Burleson. 1-3 in the order. 1-3 in the order.
All right, there you go. Shout out to the Cardinals. I'm going to bring in crunch time here in just 1 second, but I do want to recap today's Movie Monday. Fire, Prison, Sue, Money, Spoon. We did get a winner on 3. Chop, you guessed it on 3 as well, so shout out to you. There was a theme here. We were basically giving songs by a particular person. Fire was a reference to Ring of Fire. Prison, Folsom Prison. Of course, he visited prisons as well. He formed in prisons. The third clue was Sue, which is when everybody got it on a boy named Sue. And I like kind of putting Sue with money together. And this, of course, is Johnny Cash. Spoon, clue number 5, was a reference to Reese Witherspoon. It is Walk the Line. Shout out to Walk the Line. I don't know why that was in my brain, but have not seen that movie in forever. But maybe it's due for a rewatch. Did you like Walk the Line back in the day, Chop?
Yeah, it was good.
Better than Norbit?
It was better than Norbit. And I'm usually not a big fan of like the biography movies,
Sure.
But it was solid. You can't beat Joaquin Phoenix. He's really good.
All right. Yeah, Phoenix is spectacular. Let's go ahead. Let's bring in crunch time. We have beer, cheese, Roth. Let's do it. Crunch time right now. Dave Potts has to have an answer. Dave, what is your favorite Johnny Cash song?
I don't know if I do have it. I actually don't have a favorite Johnny Cash song other than that it's not Ring of Fire.
You ever cover one?
Honestly, no. Like it's so far away from what I do that it sounds ridiculous. Like, because they're really easy songs, but if you don't have that particular voice, then they just sound like bad songs.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to explain, but like I can play them and they sound like really dull. That's why I was so impressed with that movie, that Joaquin Phoenix could pull that off to get that voice. Like, and it didn't sound exactly like Johnny Cash, but it sounded great. Like I listened to that soundtrack more than I listened to Johnny Cash. That's just more about me than anything else. But
by the way, seamless transition, Dave. How excited are we about the Shedeur Sanders era in Cleveland? Are we pumped? Are we all in?
We are all in after we get a little Joe Flacco. I would like 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns from Flacco, and then in December for the playoff push, we're going to surprise everyone, put Sanders in, and then ride him the rest of the decade.
There you go. All right. I know the people are pumped there in Cleveland. Good performance over the weekend, at least in the preseason debut. Roth, what's up? How are things?
It's good. You got to see Weapons, Dean. You got to go see it.
Where are the kids going? Why are they leaving?
No spoilers, please.
No spoilers. You want to go into it knowing nothing. You want to have no idea of what's going on in that movie, and just go check it out.
I do want to see it. Yeah, it's probably a good theater movie too. I imagine it's probably a good theater
I saw
experience.
it in IMAX. I was in it, man. I was there. It was cool. I really enjoyed it.
All right, beer. What's up? How are things?
Things are good. Fresh off vacation, so back to reality here. But ready to rock, team. How are you?
Where did we go? Anywhere fun?
We went to do a little camping and then visit my buddy's lake house in Indiana.
You big s'mores guy?
Kind of a split vacation.
So let me just jump in and say, Dean, you asked if it was fun, and he said what he did. He didn't answer your question. Did you notice?
He answered the question.
Did we have fun?
We had fun. I mean, with the kids can be a headache sometimes. So there's that. Traveling with kids, we all know what that's like. But yes, we had a great time. Thank you for asking.
And you're outnumbered, right? It's like 4 girls to 1.
Yeah, and we got a male dog, and he's probably the girliest of everybody in the house. So that backfired on me too.
Well, welcome back.
It's just me, Dean. One. That's why I got to keep the beard growing. Keep the testosterone flowing around here.
Roth, weather-wise, I think we're pretty clean. I know you wrote up a bunch about Cleveland. We don't really care about the pitchers in that game. I don't know how concerned you are. Detroit and the White Sox. I'll speak for everybody, I think. I don't think we care about the pitchers in that game, but otherwise, I think we're pretty clean. Has anything changed?
A little bit. I've increased the risk a touch in Kansas City. I think both Kansas City and Chicago, chance of a delay, but that's pretty much it.
Well, do we care about pitchers in that game? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we don't care about Kansas City pitchers either, but I'll let beer And Cheese, speak on that. Myself and Chop, we wish you good luck tonight. Appreciate y'all watching the first portion. Do hit that like button, do subscribe, do turn on those notifications to know when we go live. You got 40 plus minutes of crunch time, nonstop MLB conversation starting right now. Kevin Roth, take it away.
Welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. It's two of the sharpest minds in the biz, two of the OGs in the industry. Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood in the house. What up, Cheese?
Too much. It's a pretty great slate. I like it.
Okay, that's good. We already have Gregory saying, can we please talk about the pitching for FanDuel? You bet. We're going to start talking on DK, and then we'll get to FanDuel as well. We got Beer in the house as well. Beer, the beard is so good, dude. It's 10 out of 10. I'm pretty jealous of that thing.
I appreciate it, Roth. It gets a little wild. You got to start doing some maintaining. And
if you eat s'mores around a campfire with that beard, you're in trouble. There's marshmallow all over that.
The beauty is my wife's the first one. You got something on your face. She's quick to,
that's good.
Get that off of there. But I had an amazing time on vacation, and now I'm ready to talk some baseball with my boys.
Good. Well, we're looking forward to it as well. Did mention there are some minor weather concerns. Just the two games. There's Chicago and there's Kansas City. I think both games really just a chance of a delay. There's some sort of worst case scenario I could concoct where it gets worse than that, but that's just me being paranoid. And that's my job. Your job is to just play whatever. I think in both games, delays would be more likely in the latter half of the game than the first half of the game. So even if you want pitchers, I think it's fine. And barring some sort of, nightmarish outcome, some sort of 2% outcome, I think bats are fine in both spots as well. So I would just play everything everywhere. And shout out to Chop, because Chop mentioned he liked the weather there in Sacramento for the A's game. It's hot, 90 degrees, winds are blowing out. Minor league park, there's nothing to block the wind. So like a 10-mile-per-hour wind blowing out there is worth more than a 10-mile-per-hour wind in other spots. So that's pretty much it. That's my weather spiel for today. Beer, does that concern you at all? The two chances for a delay, basically?
Not really. Not a ton out of either of those games that I really like. So pretty easy to avoid those if you want. Take some chances. I think you're okay. I don't think there's anything overly concerning as far as postponements go. And the pitchers, I'm not really worried about in those games.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Well, with that, let's dive into play whoever you want. We'll hit them with the blender.
Easy as that.
Whoever you want.
Let's dive into the content side. We're a little bit late getting started, but we still have plenty of time here. Let's start talking pitchers. Beer, why don't you lead us off? What are we doing? DK, we need two of these bad boys.
So like Cheese said, this is a fun slate. I think there's a lot of options hitting-wise we'll get to, but pitching-wise as well, especially on the high end. I think you have a bunch of different options that you can go to. I think the big three, Crochet, Yamamoto, and Nathan Eovaldi. And Eovaldi's actually my favorite of this group. So we'll see where Cheese ranks out on these three. And I don't think you can go wrong with any of the three. I like all of their matchups, but Eovaldi, you have the risk that Arizona puts up good numbers against righties, but you also have a team that's very watered down. All the trades, the top of that lineup is still very dangerous, but a lot of strikeouts down in that lineup. And he's been so consistent. 6 straight, over 20 DraftKings points, averaging nearly 27 over those 6 starts. So he's my 1A in this group. I'll put Crochet at second. Don't mind the matchup with Houston there. And Yamamoto will be third for me, but very, very close. It's like a 1A, 1B, 1C. I think you want at least one of those guys, and I wouldn't fault anybody for trying to cram 2 of those guys in a lineup. I think that's very viable here tonight with some of the value we'll talk about in the bats. There is, Logan Webb, I think, is a step down from them. I'll have him right below those 3. And then there's an interesting kind of 7,500-ish range. So 3 guys stood out to me here. Quintana against Pittsburgh. The problem with him, limited upside, but he does have the best matchup of these 3 guys. So he's going to be in the player pool. Will Warren against Minnesota. Worry a little bit about his strikeouts being down here, but I do like this matchup for him. And then the risky one with probably the most upside is Zebby Matthews against the Yankees. So the big thing with him, 33% strikeout rate against lefties. There's 5 of them in the lineup here tonight. But again, if I'm playing cash games, I'm probably playing a little safer with one of these names. Upside, I think Zebby gives you the most upside. value, there's not a lot. If you want to go down to Dolander at 5,000, you can. I would not suggest it. I don't think he's a good pitcher. And I think St. Louis puts it on him. So 3 high-end guys, Logan Webb kind of sandwiched in between, and then the value with Quintana, Warren, and Zebby. So lots of ways to build. I would try to, at least get one of those top 3. Maybe you mix in that second group of 3, save yourself some money, or even go 2 elite pitchers tonight, find some value in the bats.
Okay, good stuff. Cheese, I want to bring you in here. It seems like there are a lot of options, and I'm curious if you're kind of trying to narrow that down, if you're playing single entry or something.
I'm pretty narrowed down. I feel very similar. Eovaldi is my favorite by a lot, actually. We can argue about to what extent he's been lucky versus good, but like actual what's happened in baseball, he is the best pitcher in the league, and it's not even remotely close. Like, you got 14 starts, Roth, 14 starts. He's only allowed more than 1 run one time in his last 14 starts. More than
that's
one.
Insane.
It's crazy.
That's pretty wild. Yeah.
Like Paul Skeens is like breaking the record books with a 1.94 ERA. Eovaldi's 1.38. Like,
I was unaware.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course, it takes some good luck to get your ERA down that low, but
Sure.
like, what are we even talking about? Just
Great.
play.
Yeah.
Literally the best pitcher since Greg Maddux. But, I mean, based on what he's done to this point this year, he is.
Okay.
Of course, he's not going to continue with a 1.38 ERA.
Yeah.
It'll probably just go down. At some point, he'll have a bad start. But if you're waiting for it, you've lost all your money by the time it finally happens, because he just keeps dominating everybody. So, and he won't really be any more popular than Crochet.
Okay. Why is Crochet so popular if he's 11.5 and he's not the dude who's the best pitcher since Greg Maddux?
Projections. People play off projections. Crochet does have a higher strikeout rate than Eovaldi. Like, the best case scenario ceiling for Crochet is higher than Eovaldi.
Okay.
Eovaldi can't go 110 pitches with 15 strikeouts. Crochet could do that. So best case scenario, Crochet is still the guy with the highest ceiling. But I just like Eovaldi better. Yeah. And on DraftKings, I like Yamamoto better than Crochet because of the salary. And he's got a good strikeout matchup. So, like, by all means, Garrett Crochet should be in your pool because he does have the highest ceiling.
Yeah.
But to me, it's kind of silly to spend that extra salary unless you're just sitting around wasting it for no other reason. So for me, it's Eovaldi 1, Yamamoto 2 on DraftKings, Crochet 3.
But there's a lot of others.
On FanDuel, I flip Crochet ahead of Yamamoto. Okay. So then cheap stuff, mostly DraftKings. I'm totally out on Will Warren, and I think he'll be the most popular of the cheap stuff. I have 0. I think Quintana is okay. I would rather throw the risky dart on Zebby Matthews. Like, that's a very wide range of outcomes guy. And then since Eric is not here, I will talk about Jeffrey Springs, 6,900. If this game was in any other ballpark, he'd be the chalk. The ballpark hurts him. But Tampa is kind of out of Major League Baseball players.
Yeah.
Like, they got Caminero and Yandy Diaz, if you want to be scared of him, and that's it. And then it's a bunch of who are these people? And they're mostly lefties too. So I really like Springs. And there you go. FanDuel wise, there's really not much cheap. For me, Quintana and Zebby are the two I'm willing to play. They're down around 8K. And that is just it.
Okay. Very good. Beer, I want your FanDuel thoughts here. Are you spending up? You going with the Eovaldi, or can you get away with doing something cheap on FanDuel? What do you think?
I'd much rather spend. I mean, Crochet is a little bit cheaper over here than he is on DraftKings, which is a little surprising. So I don't think it's tough to get him in. Eovaldi at 10.5. Same thing with these FanDuel prices. You can still stack who you want outside of a handful of teams and still end up with a pretty good lineup. So I am sticking with the big three there, with Eovaldi still being my favorite at 10.5 amongst this group.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Let's flip it and talk about some of the stacks. I assume we've got some good options here as well, Cheese, but maybe there's so many good pitching options that we don't. I don't know. Walk me through it, Cheese.
No, we still have like the slate is pretty split. Like we've got these good pitchers, and then we've got this kind of like the okay mid-tier, and most of those mid-tier pitchers you can play against too.
Right.
So we do actually end up with a lot of offenses. But there's not like that one, oh, this is the offense. It's like kind of St. Louis is probably the chalk just because they're facing Colorado, who has no pitchers to speak of. But then it's like this big mishmash. Like there's upside that has like very obvious downside too. Like the Yankees and the Dodgers are the two that kind of stand out for that. I wouldn't be surprised if either of them score like 14 runs or 0. Like it's really just a weird slate like that. And I kind of put the Red Sox in that same bucket. So for me on DraftKings, where salary is a little more important, I think the Brewers and the Twins and kind of join the Cardinals and maybe the White Sox as good cheap teams. And then I'm playing a ton of Colorado, more so as one-offs than as a stack. They're still the Rockies. Like you can't be thrilled about stacking them, but they should hit some home runs here. And then we got the A's as probably the chalkiest spend-up team, I think. Like I think they'll get more attention than like the Dodgers and the Yankees. I love Rooker and Langoliers, and then I'm okay with the lefty power as well. But it's pretty hard to get that top 5 if you're getting an ace. So I don't have a lot of full stacks there.
Okay, very good. Beer, we've already got someone in the chat, Mike, bringing up his beast of the night. So we will get to that eventually. We'll talk some home run calls, but I do want your thoughts on overall stacks.
We'll give you the 6-pack here as always, a stack. So Jeffrey Springs, I'm not as optimistic as Eric and maybe even Cheese. Like decent pitcher, but low strikeout rate. You got the weather against him. He's given up a lot of home runs. So yes, Tampa, not the greatest lineup in the world, but I think there's enough bats in this lineup. They're at the top of the list for me today.
Ooh,
so
interesting.
Tampa, number 1. Really like the Red Sox. They're my number 2, and I don't think they're going to gain a lot of traction ownership-wise. There's a lot of players from this lineup I like, so they're number 2. I agree on the Cardinals as 3. Have the Yankees as 4. My Brewers, baby. This I got to gloat for a minute here. I mean, this team is just playing some baseball right now. I mean, that win the other night was absolutely incredible. So I got them number 5. Like the spot for them here tonight, and I have the Dodgers at 6. So out of those teams, Red Sox I have it 2. I don't think it's going to get a lot of ownership. And the Dodgers, I don't think it's going to see a lot of ownership. And a lot of that's to do with cost. Teoscar is not in the lineup tonight. We just got that note. But Red Sox and Dodgers, I think, could be sneaky.
Yeah, okay. It's nothing to do with anything. Who would have believed the Brewers would be the first team to 70 wins?
Not me.
Like, it's incredible. Like,
not me.
I'm happy for them. I do not understand it, but I'm happy for it.
This has been under the radar to non-baseball fans because I was fully unaware that the Brewers were even good this year.
It still doesn't even seem like they are. Like, and they're like the best by a lot. But like, it's
That's
weird.
I think we have 4 or 5 games on the whole league as far as wins go, and you look at this lineup and you're like, how? Like, I don't even know half of these guys, and I'm a damn fan of the team. So it's one of the magical rides. Let's hope it's not just a couple week span and they fizzle out, but there is a big series with the Cubs coming out, so that'll be interesting. Should be a good battle, but yeah, it's been fun to watch.
Can I join the bandwagon? I don't really have a team that I really love all that much. Yeah. Okay.
Nobody parties like the people in Milwaukee. Now they are underwater right now, as you know, a lot of flooding. So
I saw that. That
thoughts out to all my peeps in Milwaukee. But yeah, Roth, we got to do a game. We got to take you in and make you part of the Brew Crew.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. The name alone, the Brew Crew. Yeah, I'm about that. Okay, very good. Gentlemen, let's go around the horn, talk position by position here, and then we'll give some home run calls. And of course, we'll answer some of your questions as well. I do want to make sure you're hitting that thumbs up for us on YouTube. It's free content from 2 of the literal sharpest minds in DFS. They've been at it for, I don't want to age them, but more than a decade, for some multiple decades. Beer, let's start at catcher. What do we got?
I think there's a lot of options here, actually. Sometimes catcher can be tricky. So quite a few names I like tonight. William Contreras is probably my favorite against Haney. I think Sal Perez is in play. If we get that game in. The interesting one, Ben Rice, catcher eligible over on DraftKings. So kind of a little cheat code, to get him slotted in that catcher spot. I think all three of those fantastic options. None of them are going to cost you a ton of money. A couple value plays, Riley Adams against Falter, and then Hunter Fiducia, minimum price in this one. So it's lefty on lefty, but you want to load up, you want to save some money, you don't love any of the catchers, throw them in price guy in there in the best offensive environment we have on the slate tonight.
Cheese, what does fiduciary mean? I know of this word. I don't know
so
what
it means that this guy
wise.
has an obligation to do his best for you.
There you go. Love it.
So that's why you want him on your team. Like,
okay,
he's
he has a
legally
fiduciary
required
obligation
to help you. Like, he has to help you. That's in his name. So
very nice.
If he doesn't, he loses his own name.
I have a fiduciary obligation to put him. There we go. Involving trust, especially with regard to a relationship between a trustee and a beneficiary.
And who doesn't trust a 2K catcher?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. The name is great. All right. Cheese catcher, what do you like? Fiduciary, obviously.
Yeah, I don't like him at all, but I do love his name.
Like him.
Let's be clear, he's 2K. So, that's why we throw him out there. It's hard to love a 2K player, but
you can get a 0 and be fine. And like he can get a walk. Like, I think there's a decent chance he gets a walk and scores. He has no power, no speed, but he has some patience. So and he's free, so that's fine. The reason I don't like him is, like, as usual, it's one of my favorite spend-up positions.
Yeah.
Langoliers and Goodman are my two favorites. Ben Rice, Sal Perez, Ryan Jeffers, all kind of off the board. And then I guess we got Will Smith in the lineup. I think that lineup just came out, so you can add him. But Goodman and Langoliers is my favorite by a lot.
Okay, very good. First base, Cheese.
So on DraftKings, part of why I like this slate is the way you have to just make decisions between spending up and not spending up. So, like, if you're going double aces, you can't play Ohtani or Kurtz, basically. And then if you do that, if you do double aces, then everybody's playing Andrew Vaughn. Like, I think that's your kind of heavy chalk is Andrew Vaughn, which, I mean, that's weird. Like, he's a great price and he's a very good play. But, like, if you can find a way to spend up and the spending up gets you different, of course, I would prefer to do that. Assuming you can't get all the way up to Ohtani or Kurtz, which I prefer Ohtani, I think Freddie Freeman, Spencer Torkelson, and Wilson Contreras are the three that I like.
I just Googled Andrew Vaughn to see if he was related to Mo Vaughn. And just based on the picture,
no, that's how you know right now. It'd be one hell of a coincidence if those two were brothers.
Very different looking.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I felt about the laugh track, but very different looking gentlemen. All right. Anyways, Beer, first base, what do you like?
You still got me on this Mo Vaughn, Andrew Vaughn. I mean, that's like my beard against your beard, Roth. That's how polar opposites that these two guys are. Yep. So Vaughn is interesting. I mean, cheap price. He's been playing incredibly well since coming over to the Brewers. So tough to beat that price. Heart of the order guy, big total. So it will be a little bit chalky, but I think if cash games, if you're not going Ohtani, I think Vaughn is the play. But who doesn't love Ohtani? A little homecoming here, going back to play the Angels. So if you can make him work, certainly can go that route. Yandy Diaz, one of my favorites here, kind of in between those two guys. If you don't want to go cheap, you don't spend up. He's the preferred option. Burleson and Contreras are interesting for St. Louis against Dolander. And then again, Vaughn, probably the cash game guy and the best value here. So not as deep as we normally get at first base, but still plenty of options, especially when Ohtani's on the slate.
Okay, very good. Second base, Spear.
Not as many options here either. Another position that's a little bit tough, but a couple expensive guys I like. Gleyber Torres against the White Sox tonight. I think Jazz Chisholm is interesting against Zebby. If you're not using him, he is a guy that can be blown up, vulnerable to power a little bit. There is some decent value here. My favorite two, Paul DeJong, just 2,900. If that game goes, and then Lennon Sosa at 3,200 has really shown some nice power of late. So some expensive guys, and then the two value guys I just named in Sosa and DeJong if you want to save some money.
Okay, Cheese, second base.
FanDuel is way better for second base because
Yes.
you can play Nolan Gorman at second. You can play Christopher Morel at second. You can play Isaac Collins at second. You can play Mookie Betts at second. So totally different between the sites. And I definitely like Gorman on FanDuel or Collins if you've got other Brewers in there. On DraftKings, it's just a don't really spend up slate. I mean, Jazz and Torres are perfectly decent plays. And they're not like super expensive, so I don't mind them. But again, I'm trying to play aces, so I am running out of salary pretty quick. Lennon Sosa is my favorite of the cheap guys. Luke Keishel's on the board. I think you can play Thomas Segisi if you need a full punt, just because he plays for the Cardinals. And that's really about it.
Okay. You get to go to third, Cheese.
Also not really that deep. Like Caminero is the one Tampa bat that I like tonight. And the guy that is kind of worth spending up on, but assuming you can't spend the 55 on DraftKings, Muncy and Gorman are the go-to guys for me. The cheap stuff is not enough cheaper than Gorman for me to love it outside of stacks. It's okay, but like Gorman's 36 on DraftKings, and then on FanDuel, Gorman's 27 and Muncy's 3K. So we're really just not saving that much to punt with nonsense. So that's pretty much where I'm stopping, unless it's a stack.
Okay, fair enough. Beer?
Pretty much in lockstep here. Junior Caminero is my favorite bat on the slate. He is tonight's beast of the night for you, Roth. So I love the spot for him. So locking him into most of the lineups, but other options, I love Gorman at 3,600. Muncy kind of in between those two at 44. I'll add one more value. There's not a ton here, but Caleb Durbin at 3,400 is interesting, and you can use Paul DeJong here as well as a value play. So not super rich with options, but Caminero for me, my favorite hitter on the slate.
Okay, I got to do a quick add to the weather report to just add a low chance of a delay in St. Louis. I don't know how popular pitchers there are, but I will say it's low enough that I would still play them anyways. Are there?
If you're playing a pitcher there, you beg for a delay because then they stop at the negative score they're at instead of going lower.
Okay, that's good. I just had to I'm just looking at the very latest, and I could see it. I don't think it'll happen, but I could see it, so I wanted to make sure that wasn't a key spot. Very good. Beer, you get to take us to short.
All right, another position. I think this one, there's actually more options tonight. So I think it's a good spot where you could spend up if you save at some of the other spots. I think Bobby Witt, Abrams are both interesting if we get that game. Mookie Betts at 48 is intriguing. Corey Seager at 46. I really like Colson Montgomery, kind of a name in the White Sox. Nobody really loves to roster any White Sox guys, but he's shown some good power, been on a nice tear. Can use him at third or short. Value-wise, Tovar is probably your play, and I think Joey Ortiz, a decent value here as well. But I really think a Bobby Witt or an Abrams spend, if you're not worried about that game, is the way to go here tonight.
Okay, very good. Cheese, your thoughts there at short?
Yeah, I do like getting up to Bobby Witt, who should be pretty off the radar. Also fine with Seager and Betts in that mid-tier, but like on DraftKings, Tovar is the guy I'm playing for the most part. It's 3,200 against Michaelis, and it's pretty hard to get Witt or Abrams or even Seager or Betts, really. So Tovar is my highest owned. FanDuel, it's a lot more Corey Seager and Abrams because they're cheaper there. And I will second the Colson Montgomery, whether it's third or short. I probably prefer him at third. But depending on the lineup, either one is good.
Very good. You get to bring us to the outfield, Cheese.
So kind of like first base, like, yeah, we have obvious great plays, but if you're doing double aces, you can't get Judge or Ohtani. It does turn out you can get Brent Rooker with double aces. I know that because that's what most of my lineups are. He's just enough cheaper than Judge and Ohtani that's where I want to start. I think, speaking of kind of weird chalk, like we're back to Lars Nootbaar chalk day. It's been a long time waiting for that to come back around.
Nip bar.
Yeah.
Oh, got the full rainbow from my boy.
Yeah. Like he's leading off against the Rockies. That's all the information you need.
Yep.
I do like him. The Rockies outfielders, Beck, Moniak, even Doyle are fine. I am playing the lefty A's a little bit. I much prefer Rooker, but Soderstrom's on my list as well. For cheaper stuff, I like Benintendi. I think you can throw a cheap dart at Jock Peterson. In theory, if you can homer off Zach Wheeler, you can homer off Ryan Nelson. He's going to strike out 6 times if he gets up to bat that much. But like 2,100 for Jock Peterson against not a big strikeout guy is worth throwing the dart at. I think that's enough to mention. There's always plenty.
Okay. Well, Beer, you can mention a few more for me.
Yeah, Jock, not quite a fiduciary at 2K, but 2,100, a pretty good price for him. So you get the power upside. You know the downside with Jock Peterson. So, if you want to go that route, I can't blame you to save some money. There's quite a few teams I like Roth, almost the Yankees. Their outfielders hitting top 4 in the lineup. I think Grisham, the best value there. The Cardinals, you can make a case for any of those guys. I don't mind Nootbaar. I really like the Red Sox outfielders tonight. Roman Anthony, Willer Abreu, my favorite too. And then some names. Kerry Carpenter's interesting here. Isaac Collins for the Brewers. Cody Clemens. Minnesota's been swinging a good bat. And Christopher Morel out in those great conditions in Sacramento. So always a ton of ways you can go. Tons of options here. But I do think there's some decent value. I don't mind the shot on Jock Peterson at 2,100.
Okay. Very good. The people want some home runs. They want some bombs. So take a minute, think about those. In the meantime, I want to make sure they are getting the best deal in the industry. Cheese, I was just checking. Is NFL? Is it? Where is it? Have you seen?
Oh my goodness, it's right there.
It is right there. It's right around the corner is where it is. Fantasy Labs, your home for season-long fantasy football and best ball content. Get access to rankings, projections, articles, and more from award-winning experts Sean Corner and Chris Raybon. Fantasy Labs now has an app, lets you get real-time rankings, draft cheat sheets, lineup advice on the go, and you can sign up with code RG15 for $15 off. Take advantage of that. We got some sharp people there helping you out, making sure you're winning some season-long money. Let's do some home run picks. Beer, why don't you start us off, man? What do you got?
Got 3 for you. Junior Caminero, of course, at plus 275. Cody Clemens was wishing it was a little bit higher, but he got him at plus 340. Long shot tonight will be Mookie Betts at plus 625.
Okay. Cheese?
Up top, we'll go Brent Rooker. And then mid-tier, I won't say the Cardinals, even though all the Cardinals will homer. We'll go with Jordan Beck. And then a cheaper little, just keep going with Lennon Sosa. Why not?
Okay. Good stuff. Guys, we have 15 minutes until lock. We got a ton of questions. I want to make sure everybody hits that thumbs up for us. It's not for Spidey bombs. It's just for giving out the free content and trying to keep this show free. So please do hit the thumbs up so we get more eyeballs and we can keep the show free for as long as possible. Let's get into some QQs. Achilles says DK Cash, Cheese, Bangaliers, and Sosa, or Contreras and Keyshaw?
I like the first one.
Very good. DK GPP. Cheese, I'm coming right back to you. Your favorite outfielder at 2,900 or less?
It was DK, you said?
It was DK GPP outfield 2,900 or less.
Honestly, I think at that, if you need the salary, you just go all the way down to Jock. And then you can got a little extra salary somewhere else.
Okay. Beer, a couple questions for you. Achilles, DK Cash question. It's a 3v3. Contreras, Gorman, and Rooker, or Langoliers, Muncy, and Burleson?
First set.
This is a good question from Sin3. Who are the most important non-pitchers in DK Cash? So as you're building, let's say maybe 2 or 3 guys that you feel like are kind of staples of cash hitters. Beer.
I definitely like Caminero. It's kind of a weak position. He gets a good matchup, obviously. I don't really have any other staple guys that
Nootbaar.
And Nootbaar. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Don't worry about him as chalk.
It is Cash. It was cash.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I missed that part. New par, yeah, for sure.
Okay, very good. Let's see. Jumping into the YouTube, got a bunch of questions that were coming in there. Let me scroll up a little bit. Mike says Karos 2K for the Rockies is the punt of the day. Are either of you playing a little 2K Karos? Karros.
Only in a full stack. He's probably going to be a pretty good batting average guy. And since I'm playing some Rockies, I have him, but like I'm not like going on my way for him.
Is he related to Eric?
Oof. If so,
Isn't it spelled differently? No, it's spelled the same. I have no idea. Somebody look that up for us. That would be. It's about the right age.
Karos, I know. Yeah, like it could be his kid.
Yeah.
I would think.
Somebody will get back to us shortly on that.
Let's see. DK Cash top 3 bats worth spending on. So now we're in DK Cash, but geez, we're talking about spend ups. Who are your favorites?
Rooker and Ohtani.
Okay, that works. Anthony says, "Cheese, are the Brewers chalky?"
Kind of. Andrew Vaughn is chalky. Other than that, I would say chalky is probably not the right word. Like they'll be played, but not in any particular iteration. So other than Vaughn, I wouldn't really worry about the ownership that much.
Okay. Beer, coming to you for a few questions. This one from Flying Armbar in the YouTube. Your favorite Tigers and your favorite Cardinals on FanDuel. Thank you, fellas.
My favorite Tigers are probably Kerry Carpenter and Gleyber Torres. Cardinals, Nootbaar, and Burleson and Contreras.
Very good. Beer, right back to you. Eric says on DK, how do you feel about Dollander and Heaney to get bats? He's got to be, I assume he's not serious. That can't be serious.
I mean, a 5K pitcher is always interesting. They don't, the old quote, they don't have to do much. I just don't see him doing much here. And is 6 points out of a 5K pitcher worth it? I just don't think that's the way to go. There's plenty of good stacks and teams where you don't need to go that route. So not for me, but hey, it'll be a different lineup that I'll, to find the positive.
Yeah. All right. Cheese, unreleased lo-fi music says, would you rather eat a granola bar or a Newt bar? Wow. Which would you rather consume, Cheese?
A Newt bar for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer. I don't eat granola bars, but I'll what was Newt bar? 3.7 or something? Cheaper?
3.8. Yeah.
3.8?
3.8.
Sign me up. Cheese, 3K and under util FanDuel GPP. 3K or cheaper in the util.
If it's a tournament, I love Hunter Goodman. There's a ton of plays but that's the one that jumps out.
Very good. By the way, it is his son. Beer, you're asking about.
Nice. All right.
It is his son. How cool is that?
Well, we're 1 for 2. We didn't get the Vaughns right, but we got the Karoses right.
I was so wrong with the Vaughn though that we may not be 1 for 2. We were that wrong. How do you feel about a White Sox stack? Beer, this question coming from Eat My Shorts and We Major at the same time.
I mean, I don't love it. I also don't hate it. This has been a much better team. I'm not a big Chris Paddock believer. So, we got a pretty high total in this game. You can get them cheaply. I mean, this is a route, you want to go double aces. You can stack whoever the hell you want on the White Sox. So if you're going that route, I think it's a good way to go. Kind of get off that double ace Vaughn build. Give yourself a different stack. So, yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. 3 core hitters on FanDuel. I feel like we've kind of gone over this. Is it any different, Cheese, on FanDuel? 3 core hitters?
Essentially, you can get anyone you want if you don't play Ohtani, Judge, or Kurtz, or maybe Bobby Witt. Which means there's not really core because they're all like you can get any of them. Yeah. So I don't have a good answer for it. Like Brent Rooker would be the one guy I would have the most of. But you don't like it's just a different thing on FanDuel.
I'll say Caminero, Abrams, these guys look like pretty good values, in comparison with the 2 sites. Just throw a couple names in there.
Okay, very good. Beer, your thoughts on a Nats mini value stack from Coach?
Well, what value are we using on it? I mean, I don't hate the matchup with Falter at all, but I gave you DeJong. I like him. I don't really love. I mean, Riley Adams, if you want to knock out a catcher, is fine. I mean, I would have James Wood if I'm stacking the Nationals. So there's 3 names if you want to go a little mini stack, but not a team I'm super high on tonight.
Okay, Beer, right back to you from Doug. Please talk me off of Montgomery on FanDuel. I have so much of him.
Are we talking? I mean, he was in the 6-pack today, so I'm not going to talk you out. If we're talking Colson Montgomery, I think he's playing well. I think the prices are fair. I like the matchup, so I'm not going to talk you out of that one.
Okay, very good. Cheese, couple questions your way. Zakakao, my guy, says, is Quintana cash viable?
I mean, viable, I guess. I can't personally imagine not just playing 2 aces in cash. But if you want to go with a cheap guy, I mean, yeah, he's viable.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, no love from Michaelis. This is a question from Jim in the YouTube.
No.
Jumping back to the Discord. Let's see. Well, there's just comments. The Discord just hanging out, talking. That's what we do over there. If you do have questions, you get those answered first in the Discord. Back into YouTube, see what's going on here. Scrolling down just a little bit. Newt Bar or Jock straight up, Beer?
Newt Bar, easily.
Right.
Jock is, I don't have a lot of money. I want some upside. I need a $2,100 guy. If it's just straight away, it's Newt Bar by far.
Beer, do we hate Cade Savali?
I don't hate him. I just, we're going off of one start where he looked good, and we're not going back and, seeing the previous years. And I just am not sure he's a good pitcher. So, yes, the velocity was up and the strikeouts were nice. I need to see more personally.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, Devin wants to know if we're cool with Fiduciary and Peterson to let him get a Dodgers 5-man and Witt. So he wants the bats.
Wow.
Yeah. If that's what you can get, you just take whatever punts you need to get there. That's
okay.
Fine.
Yeah. All right. Scrolling down just a little bit. Roth should work at the UN with pronunciations like that. I don't know what that's referring to, but thank you, I think. Team to win it all tonight. This is always a fun one for me. Let's say you're in a large field GPP, not like the biggest, not 100,000 people are in it, but single entry. You're going against a few thousand people, and you've got one stack to try to take down this tournament. Beer, what team are you stacking?
Oh, that's a great question. I am going to say the Dodgers.
Okay, interesting. Cheese?
Yes, it's very exciting. It's the Rockies.
Oof. Boy, the opposite ends of the spectrum there, boys. Really? Really. Okay. Let's see what else we've got here. Thoughts, Cheese, on Nelson against Tejas. That's Texas. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, he's right there with Quintana in the viable-ish range. Like good real-life pitchers who are fine. I think the matchup is just enough better for Quintana that I'd lean his way. But yeah, he's viable and he's usually fine because he's a fine pitcher.
Okay. I think we are all in agreement with this very important question that's coming up. I will not say my answer, but I think we're all in agreement, and we're going to find out. DK Cash, pie or cake? Cheese, you can go first. I will have no reaction.
Okay. Well, for me, cash or GPP is the same answer. It's pie.
Okay. Beer?
Pie.
Hell yeah. Pie all the way. No doubt. No, I felt confident that the three of us were in agreement on that. It's pie.
And not to besmirch cake. Cake can be good. Cake can be bad, but pie is
just
easy. That's the easy answer. That's the easiest question we had all day.
That's how I felt.
Easy as what would you say?
How easy as pie. That's it, Cheese. Let's see what else we've got here. Someone, John says, "Is there even a single entry with a few thousand people anymore?" I don't know. Maybe that was a made-up scenario that I came up with there. Here we go. Got a question in the Discord. Beer, Quintana, DK Cash, Muncy Burleson, or Gorman Rooker?
Gorman Rooker.
Mm-hmm. And we have done a good job. We've knocked out these questions. We've got 3 minutes until lock. If you want to get in your questions, now is the time. It can be about pie, cake, dinner, or baseball. Those are our options.
While we're waiting for questions, I have a question. It was brought up in chat. Like, I know cake is in the name. Do you consider cheesecake to be cake?
Absolutely.
I do not. It's simply like you can call something whatever you want. It doesn't make it that thing.
It's like chicken salad is not salad, nor is macaroni salad or any of those other kinds of salad.
Yeah,
salad
I feel like we just put this word on that. It's not a cake. I understand cake is in the name. That doesn't make it a cake.
No, absolutely not. I don't even know if there's like flour in it. And if there's no flour, it's not a cake. And that's the end of that. Let's see. Terang or Ortiz beer?
Terang.
Yeah, very good. Just got a couple of questions in the Discord here. Cheese, Quintana or Springs, parentheses, Bill Miller's son is umping, to take down a large field DK tournament. If Vinefor was here, we know that Springs is his slappy play of the day every day. But Quintana or Springs is your SP2 to take down a large field tournament. Cheese.
Springs.
Mark Flores says Rays or Cardinals. Beer, I think your answer is Rays.
Rays, but I really like both those teams.
Yeah. Cheese, beer.
Well, it's Cardinals, but Cardinals are the chalk, and the Rays are not. So if you care about that, you can go the other way. But I like the Cardinals better.
Okay. I like this question from Doug. Beer, I'm going to give this one to you. Which pitcher outside of Crochet and Webb will we regret not rostering the most?
Eovaldi.
I like it. Okay. Cheese Big Bino says, if you had a nice stack with Judge and Ohtani, would you play Springs?
Very much so.
Yeah. No. Mm-hmm. We are. Devin says, oh boy, this is tough because we may all be wrong. Devin is a pastry chef in the chat. And Devin says, what would cheesecake be then? It has a fluffy texture. It does use flour in some recipes. And he says he would consider it cake.
This is one of them. There's probably another category. It's almost like is a hot dog a sandwich debate.
But just to be clear, the most standard cheesecake does not have flour in it. Like you can find one that has flour, but that's misleading to say it has flour. Most of them don't.
Yeah.
But it's also we're just making up that cake has to have flour. That's something we just made up here too.
Yeah, we do that. I make things up. Guess what? We've hit the lock. Did get a couple questions in real quick right before the bell. Beer, DK single entry, last piece in a Rocky stack, Doyle or Beck?
Beck.
And then Cheese, your thoughts on Darvish in general moving forward?
In general, I still think he's going to be fine. Fine is not the old Yu Darvish, but I still think he's going to be a good pitcher.
Yeah.
By the time we get to the end of the year.
Yeah, very good. Mr. Richard says, thank you, Kevin, Cheese, and Beer. Doug says, thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Derek says, pizza is a cake. He said, damn it, Derek. Don't do that. Okay, we're going to clear on out of here. So for Beer and for Cheese and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been